Hello everyone, my name is Christina, and I will be discussing the allegory of the cave. What is allegory? What is the meaning of it? It means to reveal a hidden meaning. So today we will be talking about the allegory of the cave, the allegory of the sun, and the divided line. The story begins with Socrates asking his student to imagine the cave where prisoners are chained up, right around here. They're chained up by their necks, and they can only see what is in front of them. They can't move or anything like that. They can only see what is in front of them, but they can talk to each other. As you can see behind them, there is a place where people walk through, and they're the ones that are holding all the objects that they're being able to see with the shadows. And behind them, you have your fire that's giving them that light so that they are able to see the shadow. So their whole lives they're chained up, and they know nothing more than just what they see. What they do is they try to make sense of those objects. So they're giving them names, not really knowing exactly what they really mean, but in their mind, that's what they mean in their mind, because they've never known anything else. Could you imagine how boring that would be? What they would do to make their time go by, like I said, they would probably play games. In repetition, they would understand. Let's just say if somebody behind here was actually holding a cardboard image of a tree, that would give that shadow an image of a tree. This right here sort of reminds me of whenever we are young, a little bit. It reminds me of how if you would have a teacher, let's just say that would be your parent, they would show you what an object is, and then they would tell you what that object would be, but obviously they don't have a teacher, so their teacher would be the one that would be intelligent here, which let's just say is this guy. He's telling them, okay, the shadow of the cardboard tree, the shadow of that is, let's just say it's a tree, so everybody understands that's a tree. So when you're little, your mom and dad is telling you in orange, or let's just say a pen for right now, is this is what a pen looks like. So in your head, you get that image as a pen. So going off subject, so let's say, so the prisoners see the shadows, and then they hear the sounds because the people back here are making the sounds, and they make sense of this. As a desire to understand the thing about them, the name is shadow of, let's say, like I said, a tree, and that it really isn't a real tree, because later on we'll understand what it really is. That person that comes out will understand what exactly it really is. So one of them, you have, let's just say, a guard that comes out and gets the one that's intelligent or more intelligent to get released. So he is coming out here and he's getting released because you actually have to force him to get up, because he really doesn't want to get out. Obviously that's a little uncomfortable for him, so they have to force him to get out. So he's made to stand up and turn around, to look at what is behind him. And this basically is making him have pain because his eyes have never been adjusted to the light. So let's just, for example, say whenever you're going to the movies in the daytime and you go to a dark room, you're seeing a movie for like an hour and a half. When you come out, obviously your eyes are a little bit discomfort, so you can only imagine how much of a discomfort it would have been for somebody that has been there their whole lives, to see some light. So his eyes get adjusted to it, and from here he sees a little bit of the truth of what's going on, that those shadows back here were actually people walking around behind him, holding objects. And what he heard were those people making those sounds. Next, he is again forced to go up the cave to go outside. And again, his eyes have to get adjusted. So here he is. And his eyes have to get adjusted to the sun. And when he is out here, he's starting to understand. When his eyes get adjusted, he's starting to understand what the real tree is actually looking like. So right now he's starting to understand knowledge, and he's starting to gain some knowledge. While he's out here, we have the sun that's out. And obviously he's told about what the sun might look like. So in his head, he understands that this is the sun. And here, Prados ends up telling us that the sun is the truth and it is the good. So let's take a minute here and talk about the sun. If the sun is the truth and is the good, the reason for that being is because if you don't have any light, then this right here, you wouldn't be able to see the colors of it, nor will you see the life of it. So with the sun, it gives it color and life and the truth, and it's good because of that. With that, you see the shadow of it. So in your mind, which is also the soul, your mind started to make those objects up in your mind. Okay, if you were to tell somebody, imagine a tree, we can imagine a tree because the sun gave us the image of it. Because if we didn't have it, we wouldn't be able to see it. So now let's make a little bit more sense with the divided line. Let's start off with, you would draw a line, you would divide it in half, and then in that you would divide it in half again. Then you have what, let's just mark them A, B, C, and D. Down here, the bottom of the cave would be our visible realm. And the reason for that is because you have images, and then you have people imagining what those images are because of the shadows. So, and then the visible things that you're able to see, people are making the belief of what that is. And then out here, you would have the intelligible realm, which in the intelligible realm, you have what you call, on C would be thinking, and the mathematical objects of it. And then the forms and the intelligible of knowledge. So here you would have the knowledge of what a tree really is, and the fact that you got all that information in your soul, in your mind, you have that intelligence that brings up that forms of all that. So reality, you can sort of, hopefully this will help out a little bit to understand the divided line. And hopefully this helps you guys out. And hopefully I was able to somewhat explain to you guys what all of this was. And thanks for taking your time and seeing this video.